A spotted sprinter, built for explosions of speed, becomes a terrifying paradox. It kills by tripping prey at extreme speed. This video asks why that precision chase depends on a fragile, ticking kill clock. Meet the cheetah, Acinonyx jubatus, a living missile whose whole hunt is a race against its own physiology and the opportunism of scavengers. Every sprint is a gamble with time and heat. The question haunts savannah nights. How does a hunter that relies on tripping at blistering speed survive when the act of killing leaves it vulnerable and exhausted? That fragile kill clock is our thread. This is not a story of raw strength. It's a story of engineered speed, surgical sabotage, and desperation. We will follow anatomy, neurology, behavior, and ecology to answer that central mystery. Imagine running faster than most cars, then collapsing, gasping, while a hyena circles. The cheetah's kill must be fast, clean, decisive. Otherwise, its prey and the prize will be stolen. We'll see how tripping, using a paw or flank to topple prey, is not clumsy, but a brutally efficient tactic. Still, the clock starts the moment the chase accelerates. The cheetah cannot afford a long struggle. Its muscles heat, lactic acid accumulates, and its heart has to keep up. The kill is a fragile window before collapse or theft. This video will weave visceral scenes, speed, stumble, throat clamp, with scientific explanation. How bones, claws, tail, and nerves conspire to make tripping at top speed possible, and why it's deadly risky. We'll also look at social pressures, coalitions of males, solitary mothers, kleptoparasites that turn victory into hunger. The cheetah's brilliance is balanced on a thin line. By the end, the question will feel inevitable. Is the cheetah's life defined by speed or by the fragility speed creates? The answer is darker than you think. Start with the frame. A cheetah is long-legged, gracile, with a flexible spine like a coiled spring. That spine extends stride length dramatically, creating those astonishing bound-like steps. Its shallow chest and lightweight skeleton reduce mass. Bones are thin, but optimized for speed, not combat. This fragile build favors sprinting over wrestling with large prey or rivals. Semi-retractable claws act like tire treads. Unlike other big cats, cheetahs keep claws partly exposed to grip ground at high velocity, aiding sudden turns and the precise tripping maneuver. The tail is a dynamic rudder, long, heavy, counterbalancing lethal lateral forces. At speed, it whips to correct trajectory and helps the cheetah slap a struggling prey off balance. Muscle composition matters. Cheetahs are packed with fast twitch fibers that explode into motion, but fatigue quickly. Their physiology favors short, anaerobic bursts, not sustained endurance. Respiratory adaptations are extreme. Oversized nasal passages, lungs, and heart deliver oxygen rapidly during a sprint. Still, the system overheats fast and can't sustain peak output long. Neurologically, cheetahs coordinate limb timing with millisecond precision. Motor neurons fire in tight synchrony to control spine flexion, paw placement, and that final swipe designed to trip a leg. Their vision is tuned for daylight hunting. Large eyes, high visual acuity, and a deep streak of contrast across the face reduce glare, letting them spot and track prey at long range. Bite anatomy, relatively slender canines, and a jaw built for precision, not power. The cheetah kills by clamping the throat to suffocate, not by crushing bone like lions or hyenas. Skin and coat are light and spotted for camouflage. Cub spots and manes break silhouettes. The coat helps in ambush before the final sprint, where tripping is executed with surgical timing. Feet have sensitive pads for feedback. During a chase, tactile input from claws and paws informs immediate adjustments, allowing a last-second paw sweep to unsettle a fleeing leg. The musculoskeletal trade-off is brutal. Legs built for speed are fragile in combat. A broken limb ends both a hunt and a cheetah's ability to survive in the open plains. Internally, cheetahs have limited jaw force compared to bigger predators. That makes the throat clamp essential. Suffocation requires time and energy, two resources the cheetah can barely spare. Their cardiovascular output spikes during sprints. Heart rates and breathing double or triple. But that high output creates heat and oxygen debt once the sprint ends, starting the fragile clock. At the cellular level, glycolytic pathways power explosive movement. Lactic acid builds quickly. Muscle tissue becomes inefficient, and the cheetah must end the struggle before metabolic collapse. The nervous system's latency is tiny. Reflex arcs and proprioception allow instantaneous course corrections. That neural finesse is what lets a cheetah execute a lethal trip at full tilt. Cheetahs lack the bone mass and musculature for long fights. They rely on speed and technique, not brute force. Their body trades durability for velocity in a dangerous evolutionary bargain. Even senses beyond sight matter. Hearing picks up wind shifts and rustles indicating prey direction. Olfaction helps mark territory. Together, these senses set up the sprint that ends in a trip. The cheetah's coat pattern reduces detection at distance, but during a chase, contrast and motion give it away. That's why approach, not just speed, determines success in tripping prey. Biomechanical studies show peak speeds over short distances. Acceleration matters as much as top speed. The ability to close to contact distance is what makes the trip possible. That final contact is violent and precise. A paw swipe, a flank bump, a clipped hind leg. It's controlled chaos, engineered instability applied to the prey's gait. Cheetah skeleton shows adaptations. Elongated limb bones and low moment of inertia in limbs permit rapid leg cycling. It's mechanical specialization for a single purpose, blistering velocity. Physiology constrains behavior. Because their systems overheat, cheetahs rarely hunt in midday heat and limit chases to under a minute. Time, again, is the invisible predator. The fragile kill clock is not metaphor. It's a literal countdown of oxygen debt, rising body temperature and dwindling control. Miss that window, and victory turns to loss. Acinonyx jubatus carries evolutionary compromises. Elite sprinting at the cost of endurance, bone strength, and brute force. That compromise shapes every hunting choice, especially the fatal trip. Hunting begins with selection. Cheetahs pick targets by vulnerability. Young, old, injured animals. The goal is a one-move topple, not a drawn-out wrestle they cannot win. Stalking is stealthy and patient. The cheetah closes within explosive range, then launches. That initial approach reduces time spent sprinting and increases the chance that a trip will unbalance the prey. At full speed, eyes lock on the target's hindquarters. The cheetah times its paw sweep to coincide with a stride, hooking or hitting a limb to break the animal's rhythm. The actual trip can be subtle. A nudge at the flank, a precisely placed forepaw to clip a hock. It's a violent chess move that turns momentum against the prey. Once the prey stumbles, the cheetah dives in to clamp the throat. That bite must be swift and sustained long enough to induce asphyxiation before the cheetah itself overheats. Time is measured in heartbeats. A successful suffocation can take a minute. For a cheetah that has just emptied its anaerobic tank, every second pushing the prey matters like seconds in a life or death vault. After the kill, breathing is frantic. The cheetah's body is hot and acidic. It must consume quickly and hide the carcass, or risk losing its meal to more robust predators. Kleptoparasitism is a constant threat. Hyenas and lions can detect activity from distance and swarm. A successful hunt is never solely about striking down prey. It's about securing the spoils fast. Cheetahs sometimes cache meat in trees or shade. That improvisation speaks to vulnerability. They must outsmart stronger carnivores, turning agility into strategic temporary storage. Their hunting ranges are vast. A failed chase wastes precious energy. The cheetah's math is brutal. Miss repeatedly, and starvation becomes more likely than injury from prey. Cheetahs vary tactics by prey species. With gazelles, sudden lateral strikes unbalance. With hares, acceleration and quick turns dominate. Tripping is a versatile, adaptive maneuver across targets. Hunting is often diurnal. Daylight reduces competition with nocturnal predators, but increases visibility. Paradoxically, daylight hunts maximize risk because witnesses, hyenas, vultures, can respond quickly. Young cheetahs practice by chasing, colliding, and recovering. These rehearsals teach timing for trips and throat clamps, but each mistake carries a cost, sometimes lethal for inexperienced cubs. Cheetahs rarely scavenge. Their light build cannot intimidate larger carnivores, so they must be proactive hunters. This insistence on active predation increases encounters during which their fragile clock ticks away. A failed trip can mean broken momentum and lost prey. More dangerous, it can end in injury to the cheetah, a skeleton ill-suited to withstand a charged defense from a wounded herbivore. Experts filmed cheetahs using obstructions, bushes, termite mounds, to blindside prey into stumbling. That demonstrates planning. The trip is sometimes engineered, not accidental. In coalition hunts, male pairs coordinate to herd and trip larger prey. Cooperation reduces individual energy expenditure and slightly extends the cheetah's fragile window for securing a kill. When prey is felled, cheetahs consume rapidly, often beginning at the gut. Speed eating is survival strategy and survival horror. They must eat fast, watch, and then vanish. Tracking success rates vary. Many chases fail. Each failed attempt chips away at reserves, leaving the cheetah weaker and more exposed to predators and starvation in coming days. A cheetah's decision-making is frantic economy. When to sprint, when to abort, when to attempt a trip versus pursuing a longer chase. Those split-second choices define life or death. Hunts often end near cover. After the kill, cheetahs drag prey to shade to hide scent and slow scavenger detection. The fragile clock has an interruption. Concealment buys critical minutes. Cheetahs show remarkable resilience after failed hunts, but repeated failures lead to thin bodies and compromised speed, a vicious downward spiral against the kleptoparasitic pressure of the savanna. They rarely attack animals larger than themselves unless conditions favor a cooperative trip. Size mismatch increases risk. A single misstep can break a leg and end survival in weeks. Stress and hunger alter hunting style. Starvation pushes cheetahs into riskier hunts, longer chases, and more dangerous tripping attempts, accelerating the collapse of that fragile timeline. The hunting sequence: stalk, accelerate, trip, throat clamp, consume, reads like a choreography of violence timed to physiology. Each move buys a few seconds against an unforgiving clock. Social life shapes hunting. Females hunt alone and teach cubs stealth and tripping. Males sometimes form coalitions that increase hunting success and help protect kills from thieves. Coalitions of related males hold territories and can scare off hyenas briefly, but they remain ill-equipped to fend off lions. Even groups face the same fragile kill clock when sprinting and securing prey. Females are solitary with cubs. They must hunt while avoiding detection by larger predators. Teaching cubs to trip prey is a perilous, patient curriculum loaded with mortal risk. Competition with hyenas and lions is relentless. Even after a perfect trip and kill, a cheetah can be forced to abandon its meal in minutes. Social hierarchy on the savanna is brutal. Cubs face high mortality. Predators prey on them. Mothers move dens frequently to avoid detection. Social isolation makes learning essential, but costly. Mistakes often mean death. Scent marking and calls coordinate spacing. Territory affects prey availability and the frequency of high-risk chases. A poor territory forces more desperate hunts and faster ticking kill clocks. Male coalitions sometimes ambush together, using one member to herd and another to trip. This cooperation lengthens success odds, but even teams must still beat time and scavengers. Interactions with humans change the calculus. Livestock conflict pushes cheetahs toward riskier prey near settlements, increasing chances of violent retaliation or traps that end lives abruptly. Within groups, access to kills is negotiated. Meat is shared unequally. Dominant individuals often eat first, reducing risk for some and increasing hunger-driven, risky behavior in others. Competition extends to the air. Vultures detect activity and signal ground predators. The cheetah's race against vultures is symbolic. The kill clock is audible and visible even from the sky. Conflict resolution is rarely violent between cheetahs, but clashes with other predators are. The cheetah's fragility pushes it toward avoidance, shaping behavior more by fear than by force. Even in groups, the physical exhaustion after a chase is communal. Multiple exhausted hunters cannot defend a carcass effectively, and the fragile clock becomes a shared vulnerability. Juvenile play is social training. They practice trips on each other, learning timing and grip. The play is brutal training. Simulated falls teach how to exploit imbalance in prey. Cheetahs avoid conflict by stealth, and timing hunts to minimize interference. Social tactics are an indirect response to the fragile kill clock, cooperation and cunning as survival tools. Ultimately, the cheetah's social patterns, solitary mothers, male coalitions, reflect a compromise between speed-based hunting and the need to protect fragile victories from savanna thieves. Reproduction brings further brutality. Females breed seasonally and gestate for about 3 months. Births produce 4 to 6 cubs on average, but mortality rates are devastatingly high. Cubs are hidden for weeks in dense cover. Their spotted fur and long mantle mimic honeycombs of shade. This camouflage is essential against lions, hyenas, and eagles hungry for easy meat. Mothers move dens frequently to escape scent-tracking predators. Each relocation costs energy and exposes cubs to hunger. The life cycle is a series of precarious moves against predation and scarcity. Infanticide occurs. Male carnivores kill cubs to bring females into estrus. The cheetah's solitary and exposed rearing strategy magnifies this risk, making reproduction a high-stakes gamble. Weaning begins around 3 months, but hunting lessons take years. Mothers must balance feeding cubs with avoiding choiceless chases that might attract bigger predators. Young cheetahs learn to trip through brutal trial and error. Many die before mastering timing. Survival favors those who perfect the lethal pivot of speed and touch. Sexual maturity arrives at 2 to 3 years. Females then disperse and establish territories shaped by prey density and safety, choosing landscapes that increase hunt success and reduce theft. Longevity in the wild averages about 10 to 12 years. Many die younger due to predation, starvation, or human conflict. The species' life history is compressed by relentless hazards. Genetic bottlenecks have left cheetahs with low diversity. This affects fertility and disease resistance, compounding the reproductive challenges posed by predation and the fragile kill clock. Reproductive strategies are shaped by mortality. Females may have several mates, cubs sibling together, and maternal investment is extreme because each surviving cub matters enormously. Cheetahs regulate herbivore populations, culling weak and young individuals. This selective predation maintains herd health and influences vegetation patterns across savannas and grasslands. Their presence shapes prey behavior. Gazelles alter grazing and vigilance patterns where cheetahs hunt, creating a ripple of ecological consequences beyond the immediate kill. Removing cheetahs leads to unpredictable cascades: mesopredator release, overgrazing, and altered plant communities. The fragile hunter plays an outsized role in the balance of open ecosystems. Cheetahs also feed scavengers. A hurried, partially eaten carcass supports hyenas, jackals, and vultures. Their hurried kills funnel nutrients through an entire scavenger guild. Human land conversion fragments cheetah territories, forcing them into suboptimal hunting grounds. That increases failed chases and reduces successful trips, worsening survival odds for the species. Conservation of cheetahs protects open landscapes. Their need for space preserves corridors that benefit dozens of species. Protecting them preserves more than an animal. It preserves an ecosystem process. Tourism and research can help, but human presence also disrupts hunts. Cheetah's fragile kill clock is sensitive to disturbance. Heavy traffic can turn a possible trip into an aborted sprint. Livestock predation conflicts lead to retaliatory killings. When cheetahs lose ground, entire predator-prey dynamics shift. Conservation must balance human, and cheetah needs to maintain ecological stability. Rewilding and protected corridors aim to restore migration paths and reduce kleptoparasitism pressure by giving cheetahs safer hunting options, subtly extending their fragile time windows. Cheetahs are indicators of landscape health. Where they thrive, ecosystems retain complexity. Where they fade, the cascade of change can be swift and irreversible. Watching a cheetah trip prey is thrilling and unsettling, but behind the spectacle lies suffering. Exhausted bodies, stolen meals, and mothers burying cubs. Our fascination must face uncomfortable truths. Captivity offers safety, but dulls instincts. Cheetahs in zoos lose practice in hunting and tripping. Breeding programs help numbers, but they cannot replace wild lessons that shape survival skills. Climate change and human expansion shorten safe hunting hours and fragment prey. The fragile kill clock grows harsher as days heat and landscapes shrink. The problem is ours to fix or ignore. We began with a paradox, a supreme sprinter trapped by speed. Acinonyx jubatus is masterpiece and compromise, brutal in technique, fragile in consequence. Understanding that balance is our duty. The cheetah's kill clock is a lesson. Nature's brilliance is often precarious. Protecting the spotted sprinter means protecting time, space, and the quiet margins where lethal beauty survives. Act before the clock runs out.